Hi all, welcome back to the final whistle then for this evening's match preview. Leicester City take on Brighton Hove Albion this weekend. Leicester, of course, will eye to get 2 out of 2 under Ruud van Nistelrooy. Brighton, though, will have other ideas after they was defeated against Fulham yesterday. And I'm going to chat with Joe from Albion Obsessed. He's going to give me the lowdown on the Seagulls. And it should be an interesting chat, to say the least. Mustafa, how are you, mate? Hope you're good. Evening, Renee. Evening, Andres. How are you, mate? Guys, as always, hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already and you're new. Then please do so. That'll help me out massively. And yeah, let's get my guest in. Joe from Albion Obsessed. Joe, how are you, mate?
Hello, mate. Yeah, doing well. I say doing well. We just lost 3-1 to Fulham. And they had 2 shots on target. Work that one out. It's the way football goes sometimes. Yeah, doing well, mate. How are you?
Fantastic, thank you. Joe, let everybody know where they can find you, mate, and what you do regarding Brighton and Hove Albion.
Yeah, so we are Albion Obsessed. We're a podcast that do like post-match reaction podcasts. We recently, a year ago, shot a documentary at our old home, the Withdean Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
We went back there for our sort of older fans to reminisce about that, which was really nice. We got access all areas to that. Sort of like a 45-minute long documentary. If people want to go check that out, it's on our YouTube channel, Albion Obsessed. We also spoke to Fatboy Slim whilst we were there as well, which was incredible. We do, we have guests on. We've had people like Dick Knight, who saved the football club 25 years ago. We do a lot of stuff, mate, and it's all good fun. So if you want to come over, do so. Albion Obsessed.
Fantastic. Before we get on to the game, let's talk about the opposition. Brighton Hove Albion, manager Fabian Hürzeler, I think that's how you pronounce it. 5th in the Premier League and 23 points. 14 played. I mean, surely as a Brighton fan, you'd be quite happy with that after Hürzeler obviously replacing Roberto De Zerbi.
Yeah, I think we're content. I think you as happy as you can be. Sat, we're Brighton Hove Albion and we're sat 5th in the Premier League. It's dreamland. It really is. And we have to pinch ourselves and from where this football club's come from to where we are now, it is an absolute dream. But saying that, I think we can strive for better. We've had some really good performances and really good results against some very good teams this season. But we haven't had very good results against the likes of Ipswich, Wolves, Southampton. So that's frustrating to know that, if we beat the teams we expect to beat, and I'll put that in quotations because I hate to say that. Yeah. I know that every game is really difficult in the Premier League. But on paper, when you think that we should be beating teams that have only just got promoted or, are fighting relegation, we could be sat 2nd in the Premier League if those results go our way. But that's just the way it goes. If you don't win those games, that's why we're Brighton, right? It's because we haven't got that consistency. If we had that consistency, we'd be challenging for the league title, and that's not us. We know that's not us. The fact that we're in and around challenging for Europe again is fantastic. So, yeah, we're happy.
Fantastic. So how do you think you've approached in them types of games? Obviously, you've had beat the Man Cities, aren't you, in the league, played good football. Then you play the teams of the Ipswich, Wolves, and teams like that where you've dropped points. How do you think they've really set up in them types of games? How do you think you've adapted in playing the teams at the bottom half to the teams at the top?
I think it's that age-old thing where when you play a team that want to come and play football, it allows you to have the opportunity to hit them on the counter and have some chances. But when you play a team like Ipswich or Wolves, that they're going to sit back and wait for their chance to counter you instead. And we always struggle when we come to a team that just want to sort of sit in their own half and invite us on to break them down. We've struggled with that for the last God knows how long, 3-4 seasons really. We have got many players that can sort of switch a game on its head. We've got a couple, obviously Matoma, João Pedro, people like that, you know, one moment of magic can get you out, and then those teams have to come and then play football a little bit. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just so hard to beat those low block teams. And yeah, as I say, we struggled with it for ages, so it's no shock.
What has Hurstler done different to a Graham Potter, a Roberto De Zerbi, who have been successful at Brighton, haven't they? The two managers previous. What has he changed, the German manager?
I don't think he's changed much. I think he's very much carried on the message of we are Brighton and we want to be challenging. He says challenging the establishment. That's how he phrases it in his press conferences, and that's what we're doing. You know, we found ourselves sat in and amongst the big four or the big six, whatever you want to call them, for quite a while now. So we're doing that. I think he's a manager that is going to very much echo what the board want to do. Not saying that he's a yes man at all, but he's someone that really believes in the club's vision. And I think last season we had a clash of Roberto De Zerbi wanting us to, which is funny to say this, Roberto De Zerbi wanting us to go out and spend a lot of money. We told him we're not going to spend that money. And then Hurstler comes in and then we spend £250 million. I'm not sure what that says about Roberto De Zerbi, but, you know, we're very happy with what Roberto done at the football club. He got us to Europe, and we're forever grateful for the fact that he came in a really sort of difficult period for us at losing Graham Potter. At the time that we lost Graham Potter, I was like, where does this club go now? This is going to be our downfall now. But it hasn't been. And that's credit to our board for having that vision of pushing this club even further. And I think Hurstler's just going to sort of amplify that and echo that to the players. And hopefully we can go on to achieve something special again.
Yeah, I think we'd know Graham Potter quite well after turning us down twice on 2 dates with Leicester and wanting him to.
You don't want him, mate. You don't want him.
Yeah, it's been an interesting one regarding Graham Potter with Leicester, and I think we've kind of just left it out now and thought, yeah, we'll bring a different type of manager in, not kind of wait around and mess around type thing. You know, you just got to get on with it, haven't you? Talk to me about who your standout players have been this season. Obviously, you've had Pedro and you've had Matoma, them types of players. I mean, who has been your real standout players for Brighton this season who have been really effective?
Yeah, the one I didn't mention was Carlos Baleba. He's been absolutely incredible for us this season. Still showing a little bit of immaturity in his young age, which you're going to expect. You're going to expect a raw player who's, I think, only just played, under 50 Premier League appearances for us so far. But he just got his 50th appearance for Brighton in all competitions yesterday. Yeah. So he's certainly a player that's coming up and is going to be the next one that people say, oh, how have Brighton done it again? They've replaced Basuma, they've replaced Caicedo. You know, where are all these gems coming from? They're just coming from giving young people a chance to show why they can be great footballers, and we give them that atmosphere and stage to say, go and show the world why you deserve a 100 and God knows how many million move to wherever. Obviously, we don't want to be that selling club. We want to keep our players for as long as we can, but we know that's not possible. That's not possible as a Leicester fan. You've seen players come in and move on for big money. So yeah, I think it's one of those things like, Evan Ferguson. Now people are saying, oh, he's fallen off, this, that, and the other. He's a young boy, still only 20, 21. So we've got stacks of incredible talent in our squad, young talent and raw talent. It's just about giving them enough time to become consistent, great Premier League footballers, and that's what Carlos Balíba's become this season. He's been absolutely fantastic for us. The performance against Manchester City was one of the best I've ever seen in a Brighton shirt. And he can do that. He can bully a midfield by himself completely. He struggled yesterday, but I think he struggled yesterday because he had another similar player next to him in Max FIFA. So they were sort of struggling to share the workload, whereas Carlos likes to be that man in the midfield to bully everyone. So I hope on Sunday we can see maybe Carlos Balíba and Matt O'Reilly alongside each other, or even Yasin Iyari, who's been really good for us this season as well. So we're quite blessed that even when things are slightly going a little bit wrong, we've got a big roster to sort of look at and say, well, if that's not working, let's try this. So yeah, that's another opportunity on Sunday to hopefully put that right.
I think Brighton and Leicester talk well regarding projects, don't they, with players? Obviously, we've had the likes of Mahrez at the club and players like that who we've spent little amounts on, and then you end up selling them for £60 million. We had Harry Maguire, who's £17 million, and ended up selling him for £80 million. The Kantés, and players like that. And Leicester's been good at that, haven't they? Regarding, teams have looked at Leicester and thought, how do we find them hidden gems, what Leicester have found, and, sort of sell them on for big figures when we get them types of players? How do we do that? And I think this is what Brighton's done well. They've been very shrewd, haven't they, with the scouting system and that. I think you've now started to look more into South America and that, haven't you, with the Argentinian players and players like that. Obviously, you've got Buonanotte, who's on loan at Leicester. Talk to me about Facundo Buonanotte. I mean, we've seen quite a bit of him this season with the huge potential that the guy's got. He obviously plays with Messi at Argentina, and I think that's a big thing for him to learn off one of the greatest footballers to ever live. Talk to me what Brighton fans' thoughts are on Buonanotte, and obviously how much is Buonanotte realistically worth from a Brighton fan's point of view?
Why are you going to send it on to Leicester and say, put in a bid in January? No, Facundo is ours. You leave him alone. I think Facundo was unlucky last season with the chances that he was given and maybe being pushed into a position where he isn't overly comfortable. I say isn't overly comfortable. I'm sure he's been all right there for you guys, but I don't really like Facundo Buonanotte coming on from the right hand side. I think he gets pushed on to his weaker foot too often, and sort of gets a little bit lost. Whereas when I've seen him centrally for you guys, my goodness me, he's been a dream. And he is incredible. I mean, he was managed by Carlos Tevez when he played in Argentina. And I know a lot of young Argentinians get the name of the next Lionel Messi. But that's what Carlos Tevez called him. I was about to say Carlos Balíba. Goodness me, that's terrible. Carlos Tevez called him the next Lionel Messi. So I think it's credit to Facundo and the talent that he has. And it's just about being given the stage to show that. And this has been probably one of the best so far. One of the best loan moves we've ever made is sending him to another Premier League club that, I say this respectfully, hopefully aren't going to challenge us, because we've got too many challenges at the moment. But don't rule it out at all. You won the league. I can't rule anything out. But yeah, to give him that opportunity to play Premier League football and hopefully come back to us next season if he doesn't enjoy his time at Leicester too much, and show why he can be a Brighton player as well. So we're very happy to see him thrive, and I'm even happier that he doesn't play against us on Sunday.
Yeah, he's a really talented player. You can see what he can do, and the consistency. If you play him in the good run of games, the passion, the desire to make things happen, and that he's been our best signing this season. Even though he's been on loan, we've only got him on loan from you lot. A lot of Leicester fans would love to buy him if Brighton would sell him to Leicester. Obviously, there's been a bit of rumours regarding. Leicester are unlikely to get him, but you never know what the future holds. If Leicester can go and put a bit the money where the mouth is regarding what Brighton want for him, but now I think Buonanotte is enjoying his time at Leicester. Like you said, he might. You hope he don't enjoy it too much, but we hope that he does. Obviously, another one that's been mentioned to us in the last recent days is Ferguson. What's your thoughts on Ferguson? Obviously, Leicester, I think, would have to buy him because we've already got Buonanotte on loan, haven't we, till the end of the season. What's your thoughts on Ferguson? Obviously, Leicester would want a striker. Obviously, we haven't really found someone who could fill Jamie Vardy's boots as of yet. But what could you tell Leicester fans regarding Ferguson if Leicester are to make a move for him in January?
I think it would take one heck of a bid to have him permanently, first of all. I don't think it's something that the club want to look at, but obviously it depends on what Evan wants as well. Whether he wants to challenge, we've got Danny Welbeck leading our line. So whilst you've got an aging Jamie Vardy, aging more than Danny Welbeck, granted, but we've also got that role to fill. And, we've got João Pedro that can play there. We've got Ruud. In terms of what Evan Ferguson can bring, he's one of the most talented forwards I think I've ever seen at Brighton.
Yeah,
the way he finishes, like how clinical he is in front of goal when given the service is just ridiculous. The last year and a bit hasn't been glowing for Evan, but he's had to deal with a lot of injuries. He's had to deal with a change of manager falling out of favour because João Pedro and Danny Welbeck are doing so well. So I don't think that should let anyone fool them as to where Evan Ferguson is at in terms of his development. I still think he could be one of the best strikers in the Premier League if given the opportunity. So we're frustrated that he's not seeing more game time. I would have liked him to start yesterday alongside João Pedro. That's where we see him play his best football, is when he's got someone creative behind him that can, give him those opportunities. So a Facundo Buonanotte and Evan Ferguson front line could be extremely dangerous. I think Evan is a young, hungry striker who just wants to score goals. So I think that's what people can expect from him when he gets the opportunity. Yeah,
fair enough. Let's talk about the game. Leicester v Brighton. I mean, what's your thoughts on Leicester? Obviously, Ruud van Nistelrooy is now Leicester's manager after the departure of Steve Cooper. Won his first game in charge, Ruud van Nistelrooy, on Tuesday night in a 3-1 win over West Ham. What's your thoughts on Leicester and Ruud van Nistelrooy going into this one?
I haven't watched much of Leicester this season. I've only seen sort of little bits of Facundo Buonanotte whenever he's done well or scored a goal. It sort of comes through in our group chats that, Facundo scored again. Why don't we keep him? So I'm not going to sit here and give you a detailed overview of what I think of Leicester, really, because I just don't know enough. With Ruud van Nistelrooy, I think it's a great appointment. I really thought that he would have been a good chance of getting the United job permanently. I think he done extremely well there. And I knew that the moment he left, whoever was to appoint him next would have got a fantastic manager. So you've done well there. I'm sure Leicester are going to have a really good season from here on. And obviously you got the new manager bounce when we're going to come and play you. So yeah, great for Brighton. Not so much. Well, good for Leicester.
I think Leicester go into this with a bit of confidence after beating West Ham and, like you said, a new manager bounce and that. Ruud will obviously look to get a positive result after this game, but he'll know how tough it will be. With Brighton.
Is it his first home game? Or
second home game?
Second home game. Okay.
It's going to be a tough game. Obviously, Brighton are no pushovers. They're respectively where they are in the league because they've worked hard to do it. They've got good players, aren't they, like Pedro and Matoma, who could really change a game in their favour. Leicester, of course, will be missing Buonanotte, who will not be allowed to play, so we're going to have to make a change there. So I think El Canous and them types of players will be effective for Leicester. Obviously, Jamie Vardy, you'd know him quite well with him loving a goal against Brighton as well. And you'll hope that he won't get on the score sheet this weekend. So, I think it'll be a tough game. I think Leicester's just got to be patient in the game and exploit Brighton's weaknesses, to be fair. Obviously, we can't allow Brighton too many chances on goal. I mean, West Ham had bloody 31 shots, didn't they? With 10 on target. We can't afford Brighton to have many chances at all, So we've got to be strong defensively. I think Ruud's brought that real character back in the squad where they're playing the way they did last season to the players' strengths. And I think the players are going to enjoy it even more. And I think they're going to relish the test of Brighton coming in the weekend. But what's your record like at the King Power Stadium?
Gosh, I can't remember. I think we drew the last time you guys won the Premier League. Yeah. I think Evan Ferguson scored in like the last minute to draw us the game. Probably quite poor, to be honest. I remember us losing there in our first Premier League away game. We lost 2-0. So I don't think we've won there in the Premier League yet. And the last win that I can remember at the King Power was in the 2013-14 season, I believe. I think which is when you guys had already won the league, and we were pushing for the playoffs. Not a happy hunting ground, which doesn't bode well.
Yeah, I mean, I think last time you beat us at KP was Leo Wajoa played for you guys. I think he scored a hat-trick on the night.
You know him well. You know him well.
Leicester team after going out drinking. Joa, we have ties there regarding him, a very good player, Anthony Knockout, another one who much loved at Brighton, loved at Leicester. I think we've had a fair few players, haven't we, who played for both clubs?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, Nocky being the main guy. I mean, he was just flawless for us, and how influential he was in getting us up to the Premier League alongside Glenn Murray. I think that will live long in my memory. It was just like such a good season, and it was a shame he couldn't really cut it in the Premier League. I think you guys found that out as well. But we've got good memories of him, and he scored against Crystal Palace in a 2-1 win at the Selhurst Park in his last season for us. Fond memories.
How do Brighton approach this game against Leicester? I mean, you come in off the back of a 3-1 defeat at Fulham. How do they pick themselves up to go to the King Power Stadium on Sunday?
Good question. I think Fabian Hertzler's got his work cut out for him. You could see how frustrated the squad were after the game yesterday. I mean, I don't know if you saw the reaction of Jan-Paul van Hecker when he got taken off. I think he almost broke the Fulham bench with how hard he kicked it. I think there's a few frustrations starting to show.
Maybe a few reaction at full time in the interview. He was fuming.
He wasn't happy.
What about the other one?
I don't know about that, Lewis. Honestly, I don't think there was much in it. But if Lewis Dunk felt he was pushed, then yes, I'm going to say Lewis Dunk was pushed. I think we approach it knowing that it's a very good opportunity to put things right. I hope that we don't play another back three, because that was just not very good. It was so unbalanced, and we had Simon Adingra playing left wing back, right wing back even. And that was one of the most embarrassing performances I've ever seen in a Brighton shirt, to be honest with you. I think we just go into it knowing that it's a good opportunity to put it right. But Leicester are no pushovers at all, and you've got the new manager bounce with Ruud, and you've got some good players. So we're not thinking Leicester are mugs and are going to be an easy win. I just pray that we do win because my mood on Sunday will not be very good if we lose.
Does Joe remember having Potato Peter as their manager? I think he's referring to Peter Taylor.
Goodness me. I think that was... When was that? Was I even born?
I think Peter Taylor's been everywhere as a manager.
Hold on, let me look this up. Peter Taylor, Brighton. Did Peter Taylor manage Brighton? 1974? How old do you think I am? Hold on, I'm going to have to start moisturising. Jeez. Do I really look about 50 years old? That's bad.
No, I think this is the type of game where Leicester obviously look at the teams before, because they'll play on Saturday, won't they? Some of the sides, Palace and that. Leicester obviously look to extend their points away from the relegation zone, which is 4 points at the minute. We'll obviously have to extend that, but like I say, tough task in hand against a good Brighton side, and I think it'll be a good test. But let's have a look at the last 5 at the KP. Played 5. Leicester's won 3, drawn 2. That's interesting stats going into this one, to be fair, the last 5. What would you say your best memory is of Brighton and Leicester, if you had to pick a game?
Mine
would probably be the FA Cup, to be fair, when Iheanacho scored, but in recent times.
That was a last-minute Iheanacho goal, and then it took us to penalties, was it?
Yeah, and he said, "Oh, I didn't want it to go into extra time. I was cold, so I had to score." That was his
right, yeah. No, fair enough. I think my favourite Brighton versus Leicester memory is when we beat you 3-1 at the Amex. I think it was the same season that you guys won the championship. So we did the double over you that season. Humble brag. We got nothing to brag about. We've been shit against Leicester. So yeah, I think it was one of the best games I've seen at the Amex, because you guys were title contenders. And yeah, I think just happy days to have the number on Leicester. I think you've been a team that we've struggled against a lot. So there's not many happy memories.
Well, unless you want to be the happy memories of beating us 5-2 in the season we got relegated, which was our worst ever game.
Oh, goodness me. How did I forget that? The Alexis McAllister masterclass. Yeah, goodness me. That was
that game, I'm telling you.
That was a great game. Alexis should have had.
We was a hat-trick.
Alexis scored the best goal I've ever seen, and it was chalked out for offside. Couldn't believe it.
It were a right hot day that day as well. Boiling.
Yeah. It was like 30 degrees.
Oh, man.
Welcome to the South Coast. It's not always like that.
last time out, 2-2. Harvey Barnes, I believe, scored against Brighton. Barnes, I think he scored a few against Brighton in his time for Leicester. A 2-2 draw. It was a game we had to go and win, to be fair, to stand any chance of staying up, really. But, yeah, we just fell short I think that summed us up that season regarding we couldn't keep leads and how would we come back in games. And obviously we go 2-1 up and you're thinking, can we finally go and get 3 points? And then, Brighton just tear it away from us. And there's Ferguson bangs in the bloody equaliser and you're thinking...
Yeah, we were pushing for Europe at that point as well. So every point was sacred for us. And yeah, it was just lucky that Evan was there to head home.
For sure. Starting 11. How did Brighton select the team for this one? Are there any changes, any injuries?
There's a tough one because we've got a lot of players that are sort of going to be late fitness tests as to whether they're fit enough to play. Danny Welbeck sat out yesterday, so I'm not sure how fit he's going to be. In my opinion, if I was Fabian Hertzler, which I wish I was because his pay packet would be very nice, I would go with Bart Verbruggen in goal, a back 4 with Tarek Lamptey, Lewis Dunk, Jan-Paul Van Hecke and Pervis Stupinian. And then midfield 2 of, so many to choose from. Baliba and Ayari. Ahead of them, I would go with Jorginho Rutter, João Pedro, and Mitoma. And then leading the line, I would have Evan Ferguson, if Danny Welbeck isn't fit. If Welbeck is fit, I'd have Welbeck any day.
Yeah, Welbeck scored quite a few goals for you, hasn't he? I mean, you probably kept him the fittest he's ever been, I think, regarding...
Yeah, he's been class.
You've got to keep him fit, haven't you, Welbeck, with all his injuries and that he's had. If you can keep him fit, he's a good player.
He's world class. The way he leads a line, the way he... the experience that he gives to the young players around him. I genuinely believe that he's one of the best at what he does in the Premier League if stayed fit. We're lucky to have him.
Leicester's team, Hermanson in goal, Cody, Vestergaard, Christensen, Justin. I think we'll stick with Samara and Ndidi as the two. I thought them two were excellent on Tuesday night. El Canoes, Mavadidi out left, Jamie Vardy up front, and then I think we'll stick with McAteer because Buonanotte won't be playing. So I think Steffi Mavadidi comes in for Buonanotte for this one. So yeah, that'll be my team to play Brighton. Score prediction, Joe. I mean, what's your feeling ahead of this one?
Cool. As I say, moods are low after losing 3-1 to Fulham, who only had 2 shots on target. How do you do that? You do it by Matt O'Reilly scoring with his arse at the other end, which was very annoying. Let's go with my heart, because I vowed to myself at the start of the season I would go with my heart with score predictions. I will say 2-0 to Brighton.
Okay. My heart's saying 2-1. I'm going to go with my heart. I think my head, if I had to go with my head, a 1-1 draw. I think a draw would be a good result for Leicester, but 3 would be even better. So I'm going to go with my heart. I'm going to go 2-1. Maybe we can surprise Brighton. Who knows? If we can play really well and keep that defence really tight and take our chances in the game, then I think we'll do well. So I'm going to go 2-1 Leicester. Joe, thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate your time. Let everybody know where they can find you, mate, for the people who's just joined.
Yeah, of course. So it's at Albion Obsessed. We do podcasts about all things Brighton Hove Albion. And if you want to follow me, I am Sayers BHAFC on Twitter and Blue Sky and Instagram. So yeah. Cheers.
Fantastic. Joe, all the best, mate, after Sunday.
Yeah, and you, mate, and you. Look after Facundo. We want him back.
Cheers, pal. See you in January when we buy him.
Yeah.
Cheers, Joe. That was Joe Sayers from the Albion Obsessed. Go and check out their podcast if you're a Brighton fan and you haven't ever listened, and go and check out their page. But yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. Really appreciate it. 3-2 reverse forecast, maybe. Say hi to Phil, will you? Hello, Phil. But yeah, Leicester v Brighton is the next one then at the King Power Stadium. What's coming up on the final whistle? So, match day vlog Sunday. And then we've got, I think it's Newcastle next week. So, I think we'll do a match preview and that for that. And yeah, that is it for me. Guys, if you've enjoyed this stream, hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you watch this on playback, let us know what your thoughts are on what we've discussed regarding Leicester versus Brighton. Let us know your score predictions for the game as well. And thank you for watching. Have a great rest of the evening, whatever you're up to, and keep it the final whistle. Hi all, thank you for watching the final whistle. If you enjoy all our content, please remember to smash a like, share, and subscribe to the channel.